Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Gotham Rogues. In this video we take a look at forgotten Batman villain, the Mad Monk. Throughout his near 80-year-old existence, Batman has faced countless enemies. Some of these I can understand among the most infamous fictional villains in pop culture history, while others have completely vanished into obscurity. In this segment of Forgotten Bat Rogues, we spotlight the Mad Monk. But before we get to that, I just want to give a quick shout out to fellow YouTuber Comic Review 47. If you're into obscure villains, he's got a series just for you. He's already done videos on two characters I often get requests for, the Eraser and the Penny Plunderer. If you're a Robin fan, you'll enjoy his channel as well, as he's done spotlights on all the boy wonders from Dick to Damien. I highly recommend you check the channel out. The link to it is in the description. Anyway, so the Mad Monk. He made his first appearance in Batman's first ever two-parter, now known as Batman vs. the Vampire, although I don't think it had a title back in the day. It was published across Detective Comics 31 and 32 in 1939. The writers were Gardner Fox and Bill Finger, and the penciler was Bob Kane. In the story, Bruce Wayne's fiancée, Julie Madison, is put under the hypnotic spell of a mysterious figure clad in red robes. Batman tracks this weird monk to Hungary, where he discovers that he and his lady assistant, Dala, are vampires and werewolves. Vampire werewolves. And yeah, that's about it. They fight and stuff, and we never discover anything about the monk, who he is and even what he wants to do. Like, why did he mind control Julie of all people, and then set her to kill a random guy? Who was that even? I don't know. This comic is a classic, but man is it poorly written. I gotta say I love the artwork though. The opening page of the second part features my all-time favorite image of Batman, the one you see right before you. If Bob Kane really did draw this, and it wasn't just a ghost artist, then this is easily the best work he's ever done. I really do hope he did it, because I wouldn't want the guy to be a complete fraud. Anyway, after this very early Batman comic, only the fifth one ever made actually, the Mad Monk vanished into thin air and fell into total obscurity. Then, over 40 years later in 1982, Jerry Conway decided to bring the character back for a multi-parter, beginning the arc as a subplot in the pages of Batman and Detective Comics. First, he reintroduced Dala as a mysterious femme fatale who seduced Dick Grayson and then turned the poor lad into a slave of the undead. Later, Dala's master, the Mad Monk himself, bites Batman, transforming him into a true night creature as well. So Batman had already been a vampire almost a decade before the Red Rain graphic novel. Anyway, these issues also gave the monk a real identity and a backstory for the first time. It's revealed that he is Louis Dubois, a man of over 100 years of age. He was a slave owner in Louisiana who, after the Civil War, continued to treat his former slaves, now free servants, as trash, and really anyone who came in his way. For this awful behavior, a group of shady voodoo practitioners decided to punish him. They cast a curse on Louis, the curse of a snake bite. The serpent infected Louis with something, and he was, as a result, transformed into a living dead bloodsucker. Louis subsequently infected his own sister as well, Dala. The pair was reimagined as siblings for the story arc, and it was a complete reintroduction. This is not meant to be the same Monk and Dala as the Golden Age versions. Unlike the original 1939 story, where the villains die at the end, Monk and Dala survive this time around. So you'd think another writer would eventually bring the duo back, right? But no, these versions of the characters never showed up ever again. Instead, we had to wait all the way to 2006, when Matt Wagner did his 6-issue miniseries called Batman and the Mad Monk. For this comic, the monk and Dala were yet again completely reimagined. He is Nikolai Tsepesh, an ancient vampire creature who's acquired the body of wealthy Gotham socialite Richard Ralston. Using Ralston's old decrepit castle on the outskirts of Gotham, Nikolai has set up a cult called the Brotherhood, recruiting various depraved hedonists, promising them eternal life. His most loyal follower is a young woman named Dala. When they met, she was a heroin-addicted drifter who had lost her entire family in the war that ravaged her country. The monk took her under his wing, making Dala the first member of his legion. This story features Julie Madison once again being used as a pawn by the Mad Monk. You could essentially say that it's a remake of the original comic. Following this series, the monk disappeared again, and as of the making of this video, the character has since only appeared in a couple of cameos. As for other media, the monk has showed up in absolutely nothing, but Dala was however featured in an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold, as well as in a spin-off comic of the show. So I finally made a Mad Monk video. He's been one of the most requested characters, I guess only rivaled by KG Beast. And yeah, I'll get to KG Beast eventually as well. With the monk being so popular among you guys, could you really say he's forgotten? I debated whether I should feature him on Forgotten Villains or on Underrated Rogues, but I ended up going this way. He's got a bit of a reputation, yeah, but, however, the character has made very few appearances. Only 3 in fact, not counting tiny cameos. By all intents and purposes, he is really obscure. I think think it's mainly just comic book fans who know of him anyway. People who only watch the movies, cartoons, and play the video games probably never heard of the guy, and the ones who have are most likely in the minority. I think it's a shame the monk has never been able to establish himself as a proper recurring Bat-rogue. Batman should have a vampire in his rogues gallery. Spider-Man has a Morbius, so why can't Batman have the monk? It's so fitting for Batman to fight a vampire. What I also like about the monk is his visual design. He doesn't look like a typical stock Dracula type character. Instead, he's got a unique look with those red robes and the hood. Vampires usually don't hide their faces behind masks, but this guy does, and that really helps him stand out among other bloodsuckers. With that said, I can't say I enjoy any of his appearances all that much. The original story is extremely weak, its only redeeming qualities being the cool artwork and eerie atmosphere. The 80s Conway saga is pretty weak too. The monk's master plan never really becomes clear, and his origin is a little lackluster. As for the miniseries, I like it, but don't think it's great. None of these tales really explore the monk, and despite his unique design, he is written as a pretty damn generic vampire villain. He may look different, but he's a very bland character. This, I think, is a major problem with the Mad Monk. He's not interesting. There's nothing to him beyond the Batman vs. a vampire gimmick. Another problem I see is how every time he's brought back, it's in a reboot. It's always the first time Batman is facing him, and as such, the two are never able to develop a relationship and proper rivalry, nor is the monk able to develop as a character. Imagine if they just kept retelling the first Joker story over and over. I do hope that someday, the monk is able to properly enter the Batman Rogues Gallery, and actually grow as a fascinating character. He's certainly got the potential. So there you have it. That's the story of forgotten Batman villain, the Mad Monk, who is, by the way, Batman's second supervillain, the first being Dr. Death. What do you think about this guy? Let me know in the comments. And as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.